well, thanks. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Where are you today?
I'm in a co-working space.
Is it in
Uh, it,
London?
mm,
Oh, amazing. Which one is it?
and Soul Sanctuary.
Oh, I haven't heard of it. I would like to go and explore a bit more, actually. Some co-working spaces.
Well, this is where we're doing an event in November, so
Oh,
come on down. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So what's happening for you then in life and business and everything?
So it's very exciting.
Yeah, I love it. I can literally feel it radiating off of you.
Oh, do you think it's maybe that light is working, doing its job? There's a glow. But yeah, so basically, I'll work backwards actually. I'll go backwards. I've found myself in a place where I'm now outside of the corporate world. So I have been working in advertising for 20 years. And in the last 2 months, yeah, there has been an exit from that lifestyle, which was kind of partly my decision, but also not really in my hands. So it was a really interesting kind of dynamic. But I have been working on my relationship with money now for a good year, and it's become such a kind of clarity around how important people's relationship with money is. It's become the intersection for healing, right? It's like the interface between how we feel with the world and how we like live and exist and go about our lives and what's going on behind the scenes and like inside. It's like this kind of perfect point demonstrates what's going on inside your body.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I can feel this in me. So for the audience listening, this is actually like one of the conversations that I would say I'm more vulnerable in because I
Ooh.
know that I've been brought up with a negative mindset around money. And I would call it negative. Some would call it positive. If you ask those who taught me, they would call it positive. But I was very much taught the save every penny, never celebrate your successes, even if you're getting paid lots, and don't overspend. So there was never an exchange of energy with the money that was being earned. So it just felt like a scrambling all the time. And I bring this up because I completely reflect in what you've just said. I've done so much deep healing around trauma and pain to the point where I feel really secure within myself. And then you hit the next thing, and there's always another thing. It just depends on how far you want to be looking. And money is now my thing. It's like, okay, so how can you feel safe to draw in that money and hold it? Because I'm very similar to you with your journey of I was always in corporate and came out of it, and now I want to earn money feeling safe that I can hold it without having to like beg for a celebration or buy a materialistic thing to feel celebrated. And the fear is if I attract money, then I have to, then I could get into that scrambling of materialism. And I don't want to do that. So, how do I
Right.
hold money without doing that?
But there's so much in there, and thank you for sharing. Because
Mhm.
actually, what's also interesting about it is that there's, excuse me, there's a reason that you don't want to get into that. Like, you feel that there's a fear that you might get too materialistic, right? And that's a actually because for some reason you've been taught that being too materialistic is bad. When
Mm.
actually it's not bad because if we're completely authentic and aligned, we are spiritual beings who should be able to achieve whatever we desire as long as it's aligned, right? So you've got a story that would be a bad thing, maybe it wouldn't be a bad thing, because ultimately what happens is sometimes people achieve what they want to achieve, they buy all the things, and then they create a new relationship with having those things. It doesn't make you want more and more and more and more. It actually just puts you into a plane that feels a lot more you feel a lot more like comfortable with who you are as a person. You feel like really aligned. So there's a lot there, but also what happens is we all know that we have wounds within ourselves, and those wounds, we go through this healing process and we heal them. And but to your point, then there's, okay, now I need to look externally. What does this mean for my external world, and how am I going to interact with money, and what do I want, and all of these things. But actually those lessons and narratives around money have been keeping you small as well. So it kind of feeds the small. So some of the reasons you needed healing might be around the low self-worth around money because of the
Yeah.
stories. So if you've been resisting that, looking at money, and think, I'm not looking at money, I'm looking at me, I'm looking at inner me, and thinking that money is something else,
Yeah.
then you're delaying a really nice big opportunity for healing.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So what can I do this? Can we do this as if I am the person you're working with, so people understand how you would work?
Yeah, we can have a little let's try, sure.
Yeah. So sorry, none of my conversations are ever planned, because I think it's really nice to do it intuitively. And I think that a lot of people will reflect in this, won't they? Like, like a society, we are in a society of money struggle, like, and we can't avoid it. So it's like, well, you either face it or you struggle. They're the two
Yeah,
options.
and it's not even that black and white, because not only are we in this society where there's a money struggle, and we've got the cost of living crisis, and we've got the economic thing, and we've got war, and we've got this, but we've also got everyone's making money overnight because of social media or AI and all of these things, and everything's fast and everything's furious, and billionaires, there's multiple billionaires, and all of this. So the polarity is getting really overwhelming.
Mm,
um and it's building, it's exacerbating the shame, and
yeah.
it's so people feel shameful in general about looking at their bank balance, about how they feel at the end of the month. All of those things is happening anyway, right? But then these external pressures are just like an echo chamber, and it's like it's got to the point where we can't ignore money anymore. Money as a sort of healing topic used to be quite icky, and I was turned off by some
Sorry.
okay, some healers and so on, like 7 years ago, because they started talking about money. And I thought, how superficial, like you're really selling out. This is icky. And they were just ahead of their time. Now we're in a situation where we can't ignore it, because it's kind of like the sixth element, right? Or the fifth element. It's like food, right? We have to have money. We can't actually say, well, I'm so enlightened, I'm going to live my life without money. Maybe the monks can do that, maybe certain people can do that, but it's not really the reality of our life. And yeah, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent, but it's just, the more people I talk to, the more people I work with, the more I kind of realize how important and powerful this work can be, and how healing it can be. And I think it
Absolutely.
cuts through.
Oh my gosh, 100%. I completely agree, because it is aligning what you say. It's coming into reality. It's like you can't live thinking that you can live without it, because that isn't reality now. And or ever, to be honest, like, those
No,
that think it ever was aren't even living in reality, because even if you go way back when maybe some would perceive people living without, is, well, salt was the exchange, salt was money. That,
exactly.
so it's like nature, it's like money is that internal, like, core holding of pain, really.
It's the energy of creation,
Yeah.
really. So it's the energy of creation. So if you think about it, we used to use different things to exchange and barter, but ultimately it's because you have something that I want. And then that's, that might have been some sheep or some salt, whatever these things were, but then it's become these services and goods. So it is almost like a token for I see you, right? And all the things, we don't hold money anymore. It's all on the phone or it's in the computer, and money doesn't have that same presence as it did, which is really interesting. But I think that the reality of money actually being energy, and if you can really understand and get your head around that, everything can start to change, and that
Yeah,
makes a big difference.
yeah, absolutely. And I think I say a lot to people, even when they come to do sessions with me, is don't look at the money as if it's leaving you, because you're not actually losing energy. You're gaining it because we're exchanging it. And what you currently have isn't providing you with what you need. And I have what you need. So if you see it as you're losing by giving that money over, then you're going to stay in the same place that you're always in, because you're not getting what you want, which is actually me. And that's
Perfect.
why you're here.
That's so powerful. Yeah, I think that you've broken that down really well.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So, okay, let's do it then. I know that you do a lot of work around like lineage and everything. So, from what I just said to you, what is let's work with one thing, because obviously like we don't have hours.
Yeah.
I also want people to like know about you. What would you pick out as one thing that maybe i'm I'm holding on to that's stopping me going into that next?
Well, you tell me what's coming up for you, and if you want, we could just go into the body, and you could tell me. So why don't we do that? Why don't we close our eyes
Mm-hmm.
and just settle into the body? I know you're used to this.
Yeah.
Okay, so just gently deepen the breath a little bit. Take some really nice big deep breaths into the body, and take a moment to focus on your feet, so your hips and your pelvis. That's where your root chakra is, and that's where you really kind of build your worth from. Just really focus on that for a minute, and take a deep breath into your heart. So really take a big deep breath into the center of your heart, and then if you can, just focus on dropping into the center of your heart. Okay, I can feel that dropping. Beautiful. Take a moment to go into the center of your heart. And now into the center of the center of the center of your heart. Go deep, deep, deep into the center of your heart. I want you to think about dropping in 5 times into the center of your heart. Really nice and deep down into the center of your heart. Beautiful. Now, from this place, why don't you take a minute to just think about what comes up when you think about your money circumstances? What comes up in your body? What comes up in your system? What are you feeling?
Do you want me to tell you out loud?
Yeah.
That if I earn money, that's what is defined as my worth.
So, can you take a moment to just sit and think about a time when the first memory of this idea came up? So, just It could be anything. It could be a moment from 5 years ago. It could be a moment from when you were tiny. It might be that you don't even, that nothing comes up, but just see if you can access where that's coming from.
Do you want me to share?
Yeah.
So it's actually really hard to pinpoint it for myself because I was brought up in a separated family, and one saved every single penny and would count every single receipt and would see your savings as like the place for money to be, whereas on the other side, money was an expression of love. So money was given to share experiences, to have like love given in the experience. So I would probably say like my what I think about when you said that was my first realization of the different uses of money on each side. And I think what I fear is I would never want to have money for it to then be used against somebody. So it's better not to have it, to because I am my worth, rather than the money being the valuable thing. So it's never used in battle against something else.
That makes a lot of sense. Take a big deep breath into that. Think about that idea of being very clear at a certain age that you don't want money because it's going to be used against someone else. Really take a big deep breath into that feeling and tell me where that feeling's coming up in your body.
I think it's actually interesting. Like right now, for me, I feel like a really like from my throat, because I've never said that out loud before. So for me, it's very like right now. Um, but probably like just quite a lot of pain in my heart, to be honest, to think that that was deemed as okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's okay. You're doing really well. Just keep breathing into your throat chakra and your heart. Send lots of love there. And just really breathe into your heart. Now, can you identify an age when this kind of kicked in for you?
So I think this is probably the benefit of doing a lot of healing before then tackling your money complications, because from doing a lot of different types of healing, I know that this started before I was born. I know that a lot of the relationship before I was created was, or there were already like money challenges, and it was generational. It wasn't a developed thing in my time in my life. It was something that was just a pattern of,
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
Okay, so we've got two options. We can go into a moment of healing that inner child who had this recognition, or we can go into a moment of healing the ancestral lineage and perhaps giving some of this back to where it came from.
Yeah, let's do the second, because I feel like that that's what a lot of people will want to do. That's what I want to do. I think like the first one, I think you do have to do a lot of inner child healing to get to the point of healing your money wound. And I think I've faced a lot of that. And I'm very understanding of it all. I don't have any like resentment around any way that has been. It's just, I would quite like to just give that pattern back.
That makes sense. Let's give it back.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right, let's get back into that meditative kind of energy. Just take a really nice big deep breath into your heart center again, and then really deep into the center of your heart. Now I want you to just focus on the soles of your feet on the floor, and imagine roots coming down from the soles of your feet, shooting down into the foundations of your home and down into the ground, shooting down all the way down into the earth and shooting to the earth's core. When your roots are in the earth, they are soaking up all the nourishment from your ancestors and all the ancient codes, wisdom, experience from everyone who's gone before. I want you to soak up all of that beautiful earth wisdom and nourishment and let it come all the way up your roots, shooting up back through the earth's core into your home, into your feet, shooting up your ankles, warming your cells and enlivening your body, coming back up into the root chakra, through your sacral, into the middle. And then imagine this energy turns into a beautiful beam of light, and it shoots right up through your heart chakra, through your throat chakra, healing your throat chakra, through your third eye, coming out the crown and straight up into the sky, beaming out through the top of the house and into the cosmos, into the atmosphere. And that's where your guides are, where the quantum field is giving you all the options and the opportunities and all the healing energy from the cosmos and the multiverse, and letting that all now come back down that beam of light back into your body and merging with the energy from the earth's core and just lightening your whole body, feeling really grounded, really open, really centered right in your system. Just remember to breathe really nice and deeply into your heart center. Now what we're going to do is open the lineage. And you're in absolutely safe space. We're not going to go anywhere you can't handle or don't want to. Just a really gentle conversation with your ancestral lineage. So your right hand side is your masculine side. So imagine sitting behind your right shoulder is your dad. And he's sitting in his seat in his rightful place as your father. And behind your dad, you see his parents. And they're sitting behind your dad, your grandparents. And then behind your grandparents, you see your great-grandparents. You may not have a huge amount of knowledge of the family tree, and that's absolutely fine. Just set the intention to imagine them there and connect with them, sitting in their rightful place. And then imagine the rest of the lineage behind you on your masculine side. Just take a really nice big deep breath in. And then on your left side is your feminine side. So call in your mother to sit behind your left shoulder, sitting in her rightful seat. And then exactly the same as your dad's side, just imagine her parents behind them, her parents' parents, your grandparents, bringing in great-great-grandparents and the rest of the lineage. And it might bring up some recognition of, family history that you know of, circumstances, or it might be murky, and that's absolutely fine. Take a really nice big deep breath into the heart and just feel the power of your whole ancestral lineage supporting you. Essentially, you're their baby, right? You're their babies, babies, babies. You are the leader of the lineage. And so they are creating messages to protect you. And sometimes their messages and their ideas of protection are not the same as what we actually need, or things that work in our life system. So if you can imagine, we live in a very different life system to our great, great, great grandparents. So just take a moment to see if you feel like anybody has a message for you. Just open that thought to see if there's anything coming through.
One thing that's really there for me is on my masculine side is being like, you can be safe with structure, because fluidity on my feminine feels so much safer than the structure that's being told on my masculine side.
So you're having structure feels like a new thing to you. It's telling you to have structure.
Yeah. Yeah, and that like you can be safe in structure, like you, yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Um, it's interesting because I think it then brings up a lot of other stuff in in like in like almost like a sadness of the I haven't maybe seen that before. I haven't seen the love in the structure.
Stay with the energy and
Mm.
see if you want to say this back to them. So
Mm.
sit so stay with the idea that you're having a conversation with them,
Mm.
and see how that feels to tell them your response. What do you want to say to them? Because maybe what's coming up here is this feeling of, okay, so you want me to have a structure, but you didn't help me have a structure.
Mm. Yeah, I think there's a necessary part for um celebration within structure. Like I think that it would be like, I saw the structure, I saw the benefit of the structure, but because when I did do the structure, there wasn't the celebration for me using it. And really, at the end of the day, we all want to feel celebrated. Then I then deemed it as negative. But now I can see the love in it. But I can also now evolve it one step forward and be okay with both.
Cool. Take a really big deep breath into that idea of being safe with both and seeing the value in both. Is there a message you want to say back to them to let them know and declare how you want to use their messages?
Thank you. Thank you for having the structure to evolve where you came from and to bring safety in structure. That I celebrate you and I see you for everything that you brought.
Maybe thank you for the permission for me now to be able to focus on structure and know that that's good.
Mm.
How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels very closing. It feels like closing of a way that has been, and very like calming and opening to new ways as well. Of like also acceptance of systems, because I also think, relating this now to the conversation that we had prior, is there can be quite a lot of anger towards the systems
Okay.
that is in society, but actually we can look at, and this is what I was doing before you've just done that practice with me, is I was looking for all the flaws in the system and in the structure, but I wasn't looking for what benefits came when we used it to, like, when I used it to my ability and my strength, then I'm very grateful.
That's so powerful. And I think it's actually something that I want to explain about the process that I've created. But before we do that, I would always want to close down that ancestral lineage. So I want you to just see if there's anything else that wants to come through or you want to say. Did anything else want to come through on the mum's side?
I think it's like a lot of forgiveness, to be honest. Like, because it's also something that I'm hugely working through right now internally, is the acceptance and the forgiveness of not receiving love how I wish to receive it, receiving love how the giver has wished to give it. And a lot of that acceptance for this side allows acceptance for this side of like,
beautiful.
Okay, well, I also see you, like, because as much as the structure was needed, the celebration was needed. And on one side, they gave me all the structure and no celebration. And on the other side, they gave me so much celebration but no structure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like seeing them both and being like, well, at least you gave me both overall.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgive how I didn't receive the structure on that side.
Beautiful. Can you forgive yourself?
Yeah.
Take a really nice big deep breath in there. And as you exhale it, really focus on clearing that throat chakra. And if you could just say quietly in your mind or out loud, however you feel, just recognizing that you'd set the intention to close back down the ancestral lineage and say thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. And a recognition that you have commenced a relationship with your lineage that you can go back to when you want to. I'm just focusing on this idea that within that simple practice, you've changed and you're different now. Maybe just say to yourself or out loud, I've changed and I'm different now.
Okay. That's so incredible. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
You're a wonderful soul. Oh
You
my
are too.
gosh. Wow. Wow, that's quite profound. And I think I want to encourage everybody that has listened to do that practice, because I think everyone can do it. You can heal through a collective. So do your own practice through that. But wow, that's incredible, because I didn't realize prior how much it had to do with structure and how much I've avoided it.
Yeah, right. So I think money stuff is never about the money. The
Yeah.
money is like this it's the culprit, right? Everybody blames everything on money. So we all just put all of our attention on money's the bad guy, and then we can avoid what's really going on.
Yeah. Okay. And that's where money is energy. It's like, actually, so if somebody had said to me then, what's the energetic difference between £15 and 15 million? What would my answer be?
It's whatever you put on it. The
Yeah.
money, the money is neutral. That amount of money is neutral. It's all that's what we all put this creative stuff on it. So the interesting build on that question is like, what if that 15 million was stolen and it was stolen money versus that £15 you just found on the floor? How do you feel about those two things now, right? Like, or 15 million that criminal billionaire has, how do you feel about that money versus £15 that you've just given to a homeless child? It's like you can see how it
Yeah.
depends on your story that you put on it.
And where you're giving it,
Mm-hmm.
where your
So
focus is.
yeah, so that's one of the pillars that is really important, this neutrality, right? Like, it's not money's fault that you've just booked a holiday to Ibiza and you can't afford to pay your rent, right? That's not money's fault, right? That's something that we've done. um, and so that's one pillar. There's also a piece about frequency being, this is very much like energy precedes form. So the sort of if you visualize it and you feel the feelings, then you bring sort of manifestation 101, but it's like being in the frequency. When you focus on money in that way, you can really make big changes quickly.
Yeah.
And another pillar is about being open to receive. So a lot of, I think, what you're getting at as well is this, like, I don't want to receive because you've got this narrative and you've got this subconscious reaction to, well, receiving is bad. If I've got money, then it's going to be held against somebody else, and that could break up my family. And I know those feelings. And it becomes an abandonment mood, right? So being able to heal that nervous system around being able to receive is key. And then the last pillar is flow. So money has to flow, so we're grateful when we spend money, we're grateful when it comes in. We don't hoard money and we don't just let it drift away because we haven't paid attention to where it's going. So it's kind of like a healthy river that we know where it's going, where it's coming, and it's going to keep coming back. These are the 4 pillars that I think are really key to help change your relationship to money.
Mm.
And it's part of my framework that I'm building out some programs to support people, and that's under the like lineage to legacy idea. So lineage, we heal what's happened before, so your inner child, your shadow, whatever's perhaps hidden in the ancestral lineage,
Yeah.
we reconcile that, and with that information we can create our legacy, where we get really excited about what we really want. What does freedom mean to us? What do we want our lives to be like? And we build, your words, systems to make that happen, right?
Yeah.
So that's really practical, but it's also holding a really high vision. And
Yeah.
like, it's not just practical for practical sake, and therefore, all you're doing is focusing on your money. You're really looking at where you want to go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And maybe I don't think, myself included with others, will have given money its credit,
Mm.
because I do all of those practices, but I'm thinking about energy, like inner feeling. And it's interesting because before I came on here, I went for a walk with my partner, and I said, I've got Nicola coming on today, and what you did and everything. And I said, what's going to be really interesting is, it isn't what I do. A lot of people I get on here, it is very similar line. We're all feeling, we're all love based. It's all like intuitive guidance. And actually, I've been so wrong. That whole statement to her being like, Nicola's really different to everyone. You're not at all. You're absolutely just the same. And as I say to everybody, you're like, deep at your core, everybody has a pillar of why. Like, I believe that my magic and what I can do is I can allow people access to their heart. I see love in everything and everyone. My partner's, for example, is resilience. Like, I've never heard, she can just embody resilience into people and place it in them. And then I've light workers, and they can put that light into people. Why is money so feared upon that it can't be one of those?
Well, yeah. And I think that's what's happening. I think that I'm not, the only person focusing on this. And I think we're going to see a lot more of it. There's a movement and it's coming, and it's going to start to be, I'd love to think that it will start to be the first place people look, because I think it's a fast track to what's going on. In the same way food is, right? It's very similar, but it's also like love, like love and money. There's always this link, and
Yeah.
food and money is always this link. And, you know, I'm just, learning and embodying it and scratching the surface. I'm not the case study. I'm not having this conversation sitting on pots and pots of money, but I I'm here to serve, I think, like you are, and to like really kind of like bring light to this and open up a really juicy conversation, because it's so provocative. Because
Yeah.
so many people, people with a lot of money will say, will be the most scarcity mindset people. Like, it's not just like, if you've got money this all goes away. There's money kind of like blocks and challenges at every single level. And actually, like, billionaires will be just as fearful of money, because they don't want to change it, they don't want to lose anything, and they've got to keep up with the Joneses, and they've got to keep up with all these things, and they're just as like caged as people
Yeah.
are in poverty, and sometimes more, because actually sometimes people with poverty can have a bit of a freedom in their thinking.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to be part of the conversation that turns it all on its head,
Mm.
and creates that importance.
Yeah, so it's kind of saying to people, don't chase the money, chase the love, really. Because if a billionaire still is fearful of loss, And what's the opposite of loss? It's love. That's why we feel loss. It's because we've loved something so much. It's really working on the relationship with love rather than money.
Well, I think that this is the thing, right? Everybody's going to have their own interpretation of it. My belief as well is that there is a level of uh and it's going to change for you know different everybody, but I don't think there's anything wrong with chasing money. Like, build the systems that's going to give you the lifestyle you want, but you might not want as much money as you kind of think you want, right? Or you might want way more money than you think you want, but there's no shame in any of those wants. That's still part of the human experience. That's still part of a spiritual experience. So I don't disagree with your statement, but I think everybody's going to have their own version because we're all going to be coming at it from our different vantage points and then want to get to a different place for our own karma and our own authenticity. But love absolutely is at the heart of it and is at the heart of all of humanity. And it always tracks back to love. But I personally won't want to be sort of saying like it's not about the money, because what I think I'm saying is it's a kind of all about the money, but not necessarily the paper. It's what that represents, because we're all avoiding it.
Yeah, and then I'm then like, well, the whole conversation has been it's not about the money, but as much as it, but it is. It, like, oh my God, it's so mad because now we're like talking more about yin and yang. Well,
Mm.
for it to be about the love, I do this. I'm going on to a new tangent now. So for it to be about the love, it has to be about the money, because you wouldn't maybe be able to love the things that you want to love in life if you didn't have the money.
But also, we all deserve to be resourced, right? And we all, you talk about worth, self-worth. We're all worthy of what we want.
Yeah.
That's kind of the most spiritual perspective, isn't it? Like, we're all absolutely worthy of it. We all have all these reasons and go through our lives telling ourselves all these different stories as to why we're not worthy, or having experiences that make us feel like we're not worthy. We're all worthy of whatever we want. And that sometimes is material and it's sometimes love.
Yeah. Oh, we could go on, because what makes love not materialistic?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the difference between what I perceive as materialistic to love? Because
I don't know the
what
answer.
I perceive as materialistic would be like a car, or like that holiday, or that artwork that you put, anything that isn't natural, that you don't need as a survival, I would class as materialistic. But love absolutely is a necessity to life. Like, it's the foundation to health and everything. So what then is different between those materialistic things that I need money to get, to the love that I could have without that money or materialism?
This is, yeah, it's all part of the same thing, isn't it? It's all
Yeah,
coming from the same place.
yeah. And I just think that's such a cool way of looking at it. It's quite a healing way of looking at it. Like, for some people, maybe more complex. I think my mind sometimes is wired in a way that can really look into something to intertwine, because everything in life is intertwined. And I think maybe what you've allowed to heal in me is knowing that you can have that yin and yang, and that the money can
Mm,
work with the love. Like, people,
yeah,
even if you have the money, people will still love you for who you are, as long as you're staying authentic to who you are.
yeah, yeah. And I think that the more these conversations happen and the more different angles you look at it all, the more you can see how it's hard for people in sort of like current day life. because, we're looking at that from a really beautiful spiritual correlation. People are doing that in their everyday lives because they're looking at social media and they're seeing, like, my boyfriend bought me a car, and so, has, just dumped me, and now I've got nowhere to live, and it's like these things are kind of happening on this sort of, I guess, surface level kind of way, or in a way that yeah, people are, and that's how that's affecting people's nervous systems and their relationships with themselves is massive, right? So it it's ongoing, and it's huge, and it's, as I say, it's just such it's a fast track to healing, I think, being
I
able to look at it.
I 100% agree. I think what you do is absolutely incredible. I think you are onto something that is transformative in like everybody's lives. Everybody needs to know about you. Everyone needs to work with you. And I think that it is such a blessing, well, to have met you, but also for you to be here, because you've really opened my capacity of thinking about money in a different way. Really, you truly have.
Oh, that's wonderful news.
Yeah.
That's
And
my absolute honor.
yeah, because it's special to think about it as a spiritual exchange. Like, and I think that the problem that you were explaining there, it actually makes me really emotional, because I think a lot of people don't actually understand how spiritual money is, and the problems in society come down to a lack of belief. Like, there isn't, not enough people are believing in themselves, in religion, in others, in the spiritual realm of what the universe is allowing us to do and to be. And that is the breakdown. So if you can bring everything together as a collective to see the value of energy in money, time, presence, love, everything, then you're on to a winner, which is what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you so much. That I feel really seen, and that's beautiful, and I feel really honored. Um, I as I say, the more people I work with and the more people I talk to, the more confirmation I get of, like, this is transformative, and and extremely soothing. And I just, yeah, and I feel like you've kind of, like, again, confirmed that for me, and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
been wonderful talking to you.
Oh my
um
gosh, I'm going to tell everybody about you. You wait. I knew it. Like, I knew when I like saw your page. I don't know, there is just something about you. It's really, really magical. Um and special. So thank you so much for doing the
oh my god,
practice, just
thank
being here. Oh,
you, thank you so much. This is wonderful, and I'm really, I have the same feeling about you, and just the connection. I just love how Instagram is just actually such a beautiful place for connection, and just like ding 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 things popping off, and I love it. And I've got some really exciting things coming, that I'd love to talk to you about as well. But yeah, I'm just having a ball right now, just like starting this off. Yeah.
live it, be in it, and don't ever doubt what you're doing, because you really are special. So please stay with it. Let me know of everything that you're doing. I'll share everything with the audience. I'm going to put your link here for Instagram below as well, so everyone can follow you, keep updated with where you're at, go to all of your events. I'll be there. I'm going to come to
Yay.
one of your events, so let me know, message me, stay in touch.
Yeah, definitely. No, this has been fabulous. Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
You're so welcome. I hope you have an amazing day, and good luck with your event that you're about to do as well.
Thank you. No, we'll
I'll
do.
speak to
Okay.
you soon.
Speak to you soon. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.